So in 2010, FIFA sat down to decide who hosts the 2022 World Cup. In the running, the United States, Australia, Japan, South Korea, and Qatar, a country with no stadiums, no soccer culture, and summer heat that would literally kill players on the field. Qatar won. And today, we know exactly what they spent to make that happen. Let's get into it.
Here's the thing about FIFA that most people don't realize. It's not a government, it's not a corporation, it's technically a non-profit registered in Switzerland paying zero taxes, but it controls the most watched sporting event on the planet. The World Cup generates billions, and at the top sits a small group of executives called the Executive Committee. These are the 22 men who vote on where the World Cup goes. For decades, nobody was really watching what was happening in that room. No independent oversight, no public accountability, just 22 men a vote and billions of dollars flowing around them. And for years, that was exactly how they liked it.
Now the whole thing unravels because of one guy, an American. A big guy, literally. Over 400 pounds, traveled everywhere on an electric scooter, kept an apartment just for his cats in Trump Tower. His name was Chuck Blazer, and he was stealing from FIFA for years, until the IRS showed up.
Chuck Blazer was the General Secretary of CONCACAF, the football confederation for North and Central America and the Caribbean. He was also on FIFA's executive committee, which means he was one of the 22 men who voted on the World Cup. He lived in Trump Tower in New York, floor 49, and one floor below that he rented a second apartment just for his cats. He billed it all to FIFA. In 2011, the IRS started looking into Blazer because he hadn't filed taxes in years. What they found was that Blazer had been running secret bank accounts in the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, Vanuatu. He had been taking kickbacks for years. When the FBI joined the investigation, they sat Blazer down and gave him a choice. Help us build a case against FIFA or go to prison alone. Blazer chose to help. He wore a wire to FIFA meetings. He recorded conversations with other officials. He quietly pleaded guilty in 2013 to 10 charges, including racketeering and money laundering, and nobody found out for 2 years.
So now the FBI has an insider, someone who knows where the money went, who paid who, and how the whole thing worked. And what they found when they followed the money to that 2010 vote, the one where Qatar somehow beat the United States, is genuinely hard to believe. Because it's not a conspiracy theory, it's a bank statement. December 2nd, 2010, Zurich, Switzerland. The 22 members of FIFA's executive committee vote. Russia gets the 2018 World Cup. Qatar gets 2022 on the same day. The United States, which had better infrastructure, bigger TV markets, and had already hosted the World Cup in 1994, lost to Qatar, a country where it's 115 degrees in the summer, a country that had to build every single stadium from scratch, and a country that had to move the tournament from summer to winter, which destroyed the schedules of every domestic league on the planet. Court documents obtained by investigators later told a different story about how that vote happened. Qatar National Bank maintained an account in London. Between 2009 and 2010, that account wired the equivalent of over $550 million to approximately 22 individuals. The majority went to members of the FIFA Executive Committee, the exact men who cast the votes. The documents have names, they have bank account numbers, they have specific dollar amounts. The biggest recipient was Vitaly Mutko, Russia's Minister of Sport, who received over $100 million in 2 transfers. This wasn't a rumor, this was a paper trail. And here's the moment the FBI makes their move. May 27, 2015, FIFA officials are in Zurich for their annual Congress. They're staying at the Bauer au Lac, one of the most expensive hotels in Switzerland, over $1,000 a night. And at dawn, Swiss police walk into the lobby and start arresting people before they even get to breakfast. 7 FIFA officials were taken into custody that morning at the Bauer au Lac Hotel in Zurich. Guests watched it happen in the lobby. The same morning, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch held a press conference in Washington. The Department of Justice had indicted 14 FIFA officials and marketing executives. Wire fraud, racketeering, money laundering, a scheme spanning 24 years. Lynch said the officials had been expected to uphold the rules that keep soccer honest. Instead, they corrupted it to enrich themselves. The total amount of bribes documented by prosecutors was over $150 million. And that was just what they could prove in court. FIFA's president at the time was Sepp Blatter. He wasn't arrested that morning. And 4 days later, he was re-elected as FIFA president. Then 3 days after that, he resigned. Swiss authorities later opened criminal proceedings against him personally for an illegal $2 million payment to UEFA president Michel Platini. Both men were banned from football. Neither went to prison. So here's where we are right now. World Cup 2026 is happening in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The country that lost the 2022 bid to Qatar is now hosting the next one. FIFA says it's reformed. New ethics committees, new compliance rules, new governance. So I went and looked at what actually changed. And here's what I found. After the 2015 arrests, FIFA commissioned a full independent investigation into how Qatar and Russia won their bids. They hired former U.S. Attorney Michael Garcia. He spent 2 years on it and submitted a 430-page report. FIFA refused to publish it. Instead, they released a 42-page summary. Garcia immediately said publicly that the summary contained numerous, materially incomplete and erroneous representations of the facts and conclusions. He resigned in protest. FIFA only released the full report after a German journalist threatened to publish it piece by piece online. When it came out, the report said the bidders tested the rules of conduct to the limit, but stopped short of definitive proof of corruption. Qatar kept the World Cup. Russia kept the World Cup. The 2022 tournament was watched by 5 billion people. FIFA made over $7 billion from it, and the men who took the money served reduced sentences or made deals and went home. And then there's Chuck Blazer, the guy who started all of this. The man who wore a wire into FIFA boardrooms and handed the FBI one of the biggest sports corruption cases ever. Here's what happened to him. Blazer pleaded guilty in 2013. He cooperated with investigators for years after that, gave testimony, handed over documents, helped build cases against dozens of officials. The Department of Justice kept delaying his sentencing so he could keep cooperating. But while all of this was happening, Blazer got sick, colon cancer in 2011, then a series of strokes. By the end, he was in a wheelchair and could barely speak. He died in July 2017. He was never sentenced. The man who stole millions from FIFA, who kept a cat apartment in Trump Tower, who wore a wire to bring down one of the most corrupt organizations in sports, faced zero legal consequences. That detail, more than anything else in this story, tells you something real about how corruption actually works. Sometimes the system catches people, and sometimes it just catches them long enough to use them, and then lets them go. Qatar spent over $500 million. The FBI spent years, dozens of people were charged, and Qatar kept the World Cup. Right now, 2026 is happening in the US, the country that was supposed to host 2022. That's the story. If you got something from this video, like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more than you know. Thanks for watching.